So before we get started, I got a lot of comments regarding the name of this podcast as Going Over Clean because we don't really cover wrestling at all. So after some planning and discussion, I decided to change the name of the podcast to All the Above, simply because it's what we discuss. And with that, let's get started.
To the team, and that's what we need. You know, the first three quarters weren't the prettiest, but in the fourth we did what we were supposed to do.
And KP, before I let you go, you know, you're down 19 to the Pacers, you're down 11 heading into the fourth tonight in this game. Is there ever a point at which you don't think you can come back, and what's your mindset?
No.
Yeah, so tell me about that.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Kristaps Porzingis of the New York Knicks after the game last night against the Charlotte Hornets. Welcome to the first episode of All the Above. I am your host, Chris. I have something special to announce today. Cam is not here. He's working on some stuff for his bio major. I don't know how he is. He's a smart gym bio guy. He's all about that physique, all about that biochem and everything. So I have a special guest with me today, YouTube sensation, self-proclaimed meme lord, Pookieb3ar. How are you, Pookieb3ar?
What's going on, Chris? I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm doing really good today. I just spent like an hour, just straight looking at memes, just like in the den. So like I'm pretty memed up right now. I'm pretty happy.
You like the studio here? It's a good setup we got here.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man. I've never actually been in a place like this professional before, really. Like whenever I record stuff, you know, it's just sitting at my desk at my house with my giant stormtrooper behind me and like a bunch of posters. This is all.
No, but I mean, it always sounds really good though. And in all honesty, I like you. Your recording, I feel like always sounds better than mine. But we'll hopefully today with you here get some editing done, make things sound a little bit better. I do have to apologize for what happened on Monday. I'm using a new software called Audacity, and so when I was editing last Monday's show, it had gotten corrupted from the computer restarting with updates, so I was not able to post the episode. So as a special treat, we're going to be doing one today, me and Pookieb3ar, and then Friday we'll be putting up another special edition episode where we're just going to be talking all sorts of stuff.
Man, don't you love Windows updates, especially the ones that
this is a Mac.
The Mac. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say those Windows updates that you can't
so
like put off.
This episode coming Friday, I'm just going to call it simply one thing and one thing only. A dumpster fire. This is going to be the garbage truck wheels coming off. This is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of humor, all sorts of real stupid things we're going to be talking about. But because of not being able to talk about sports on Monday, not really getting into it much, we're going to focus a little bit on that today. Friday's going to roll around. We're going to be doing all of our video games, our nerd culture, Pokemon. We've got all sorts of good stuff planned for that. But that's going to be Friday. Let's focus on today. But before we get into the fun that's going to be today, let me just give you a rundown of what happened this week in sports. Saturday night was the time, and New York City was the place. It featured boxing heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder dominating with a first-round knockout of Berman Stavern, and after the fight, he called out heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua to set up a potential super fight in 2018. After their arrests for shoplifting in China Tuesday, UCLA freshman LiAngelo Ball and teammates Cody Riley and Jalen Hill were reportedly released on bail Wednesday, according to ESPN. If found guilty, they will face 3 to 6 years in a federal Chinese prison. TJ Dillashaw conquered the fear of Cody Garbrandt, then issued a challenge to the longest reigning champion in UFC history, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, in the co-main event of UFC 217 on Saturday, also in the Big Apple, that featured the main event of the returning king George St. Pierre reclaiming his belt against Michael Bisping. And last night, the New York Knicks rallied from a 19-point deficit to defeat the Charlotte Hornets. We listened to Kristaps Porzingis just a few moments ago, and to him, it's just an easy day. And in more tragic news, Roy Halladay passed at the age of 40 yesterday when his plane crashed in the Gulf of Mexico. Halladay was a 2-time Cy Young winner and an 8-time All-Star. He's most memorable for his time with the Blue Jays and the Phillies. And lastly, they don't want none in regards to Jinder Mahal at Survivor Series, as last night AJ Styles beat Jinder Mahal for the belt and will now be facing Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Also last night, we had our voting elections and our proposals. So to go over those real quickly, the Constitutional Convention was voted no, so there will not be one. The next vote for that will be a mandatory 20 years from now. They can vote for another one to come up more recently, but per the rules, or per the Constitution, a vote comes every 20 years at the least. Another proposal was Proposal 1 of should New York public officials be convicted of felonies, or should New York public officials convicted of felonies lose their pensions. That was voted with a resounding yes. Also, Proposal 3 authorizing the use of 250 acres in the Adirondack Forest Preserve. That was voted yes. It was supported by both environmentalists and local government officials. And the Environmental Club of Central New York called this proposal a triple win. So, let's get started, Pookieb3ar. I know you're raring to go. You're happy
excited.
to go.
I'm excited.
But let me get into my one little thing that happened last night. Other than the Knicks, we'll get into that. But the Ric Flair 30 for 30 was on last night. Did you catch that at all?
I did not. You know,
it was the number one trending thing on Twitter.
Really? See, I don't really know how to use Twitter. Like, I have a Twitter, and like people know that, and like some of my followers know. Obviously, I have followers, but really, I don't know how to use Twitter. So that's probably why I didn't see it.
No, I totally get you. But so I am a wrestling aficionado, as by the old name of this podcast. But I did not. I knew most of the stuff the way this 30 for 30, and I could feel it. They talked a lot about Rick's drinking problems. They talked a lot about his rise to fame and some of his issues he had. I knew they were going to get into Reed. Reed was his last son that he had, who was in the wrestling business. He was wrestling in Japan in 2013. Most recently, he passed away of a drug overdose in the United States. And that was kind of the point where Rick started to hit his lowest in his life. And that's where his sister, Ashley, now known as Charlotte, hit her lowest point. And so it was a very interesting 30 for 30. I will tell you one of the funniest things that came out of that, because it was very weird. So it was like they would say very down, like depressing stories, but then they'd have like a funny anecdote. So, like, they're talking about Ric Flair's severe drinking problem.
Uh-huh.
And then Ric Flair's like, yeah, I went to a sports psychologist. He's like, first thing he asked, well, first off, before they even got to that, the director goes, how many women have you slept with? And he said, realistically, 10,000.
What?
Realistically, 10,000.
Realistic.
So then he talks about the sports psychologist. He goes, I go to the sports psychologist, and the guy starts with the question, oh, how many times do you masturbate a day? He goes, oh, I do it twice a day. And then it's like, oh, how many times do you drink a day? And he goes, oh, I'll have 12 beers and 5 martinis. And he's like, a day? And Flair responded with, yeah, I've been doing it 7 days a week. And he's like, for how long? And he goes, well, it's 1992. I debuted in 1978, so 15 years or 20 years or close to. And he's like, oh, my God. And so Twitter blew up with the...
How are you alive?
The Twitter blew up with, how does the man... Well, not only that, they're like, how does the man have women every night, drinks all that, masturbates twice a day, and he's not dead yet?
Yeah, I mean...
Like, how is his liver not dead?
Not to mention, how exhausting is that? And to keep going every day? Can you think about that?
Oh, the stories...
Like, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, right? But, like, think about this. Like, every day...
The stories of the old wrestlers in the 80s... Oh,
okay,
we could go on and on for days about some of the things. There was a guy named King Tonga or Mang, an old wrestler. He bit a dude's nose off at a Buffalo airport and spit it on the ground. Cops came.
Oh, wow.
He one time he had knocked out, I think it was 7 bouncers in a matter of a couple seconds.
Jeez.
There are horror stories about that, man. There was a pro wrestler named Perry Saturn. He was a U.S. Army Ranger. And one guy asked him, like, okay, Saturn, everyone's in their prime. It's Scott Steiner, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, you, and Mang, which was the guy's name. Mang or King Tonga, those were both of his names. To the death, who's winning? He's like, oh, it's Mang. It's not even close. Mang's going to kill all of us. Mang, his sons wrestle for New Japan. They're part of the Bullet Club, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tongaroa. But I could go. Maybe we'll save that for Friday. The stories of all the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely absurd. The sheer power and like the drive. Like, people think college students drink a lot and do all this. I mean, back then, that, like, the things that college students do now that people think is extreme, that was like a pregame warm up for some of these guys in the 80s.
Well, like, let's do the math here. What'd you say? 10,000 women, correct? You said realistically 10,000 women.
10,000 women. He debuted, I think he said
15 years. Do the math. How many women is that?
Oh, it's got to
Drinking
be
7 days a week. Let's see. What he said? 6 martinis, right? 6 martinis, 12
5
beers.
martinis, 12
5
beers.
martinis, 12 beers.
Or 10 beers, 5 martinis.
Where's our math guy? Do we have a math guy? We need a math guy.
We don't have a math. Cam is the math guy.
Oh, Cam, where are you, Cam? We need math.
studying
These
for
are
a
math
test.
times.
Yeah.
That's okay. Bottom line, people. That's a lot. That is
it's
a lot.
It's a
Okay.
lot. He didn't know. He didn't know he was an alcoholic until then.
How do you not?
He didn't know that was like severe alcoholism.
That was bad.
Yeah.
What?
He literally nearly died just about a month ago.
Wow.
Literally was in a medically induced coma. They didn't think he was going to make it. His liver and kidneys just shut down.
Wow.
He was still drinking that much.
Wow.
And now he's finally realized that that's too much. During the special, the director asked, "Have you ever gone out and not had a drink?" And he goes, "Who the hell does that?"
So was he having a drink? Probably had a drink while he was doing this?
Well,
maybe after?
What I thought was funny was back in the 80s, there were always stories of guys showing up to shows drunk or high. There were bookers that were like, "Yeah, I booked Flair, and he drank a lot, but he never came to a show drunk. Never came to a show inebriated."
Well, I'm sure if you're drunk all the time, it just seems normal. You know?
I mean, it's tough.
I mean, at what point do you get drunk? But then once again, he could have a high
Well,
tolerance.
who has a high tolerance is Andre the Giant. Never take. I mean, back in the 80s, you could never take Andre the Giant out to eat or to drink because your bar tab would literally run you a few G's. He holds the record for first and I believe third most beers consumed in one sitting.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a Guinness World Record?
Yeah.
Really?
I think first and third. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he drank a lot.
That's nuts.
Good Giants disease. We'll get into him because talk about 30 for 30s. He actually has a movie coming out that people are trying to make for him. So yeah, let me ask you: do you watch any of the 30 for 30s? Have you seen any of them before?
No, never. Honestly.
Do you have Netflix?
Yes, I do.
There's a bunch of them on Netflix.
What is it? Documentary, right?
So it's a documentary. They get directed. So like with the Flair one, there was, the Flair one was kind of a pain in the ass because like it was a lot of like non-wrestlers. It was like fans being like, "Oh, I loved Ric Flair. Ric Flair was so cool." But then you have guys like Triple H who'll come on and be like, who worked with Flair and try to get Flair. Triple H, I will tell you right now, Triple H, if he was not as good of a person as everyone thinks he's a terrible person. If he was as terrible of a person as everybody thinks he is, 2 to 3 of his closest friends would be dead by now. That's not a joke. Shawn Michaels was a heavy drinker, heavy drug user, got with as many women as he could. And in Syracuse, there's a bar. They stopped coming to Syracuse for a while because he went to a bar by one of the bases and tried to pick up some chicks that were with military guys.
Huh.
And the Marines beat him within an inch of his life. He was in the hospital for like 2 weeks, damn near died.
Wow.
And that's when Triple H was like, "You're turning your life around." And then that's when Shawn kind of found God. And then Razor was the same way. Another guy like this is Diamond Dallas Page. And this is why I hate some legends. Like the number one wrestler I hate is Honky Tonk Man.
I've never heard of
Honky Tonk Man.
I've heard of like everybody else you said besides Honky Tonk
So
Man.
Honky Tonk Man was a guy in the 80s.
All right.
A wrestler in the 80s who his whole gimmick, at the end of the day, he thinks he's some original guy. He was an Elvis impersonator.
An Elvis?
He was just Elvis. He's just an Elvis
he's got that wrong
impersonator.
then. He should have been like Johnny Cash.
Look, I'm showing you a picture of him right now. Like,
yeah, I'm seeing this.
He can't, like his whole song was like.
So he can hold a guitar, big deal.
Yeah, and he smashed it. Like he was known for
the guitar.
That guy is a piece of garbage as a human being.
Well, he looks like a piece of garbage.
Are
you kidding me?
Piece of trash.
Like if you wouldn't have told me that was a wrestler, I'd think that you just Googled trash, and I'm looking at Google images of
the
trash.
wheels are already coming off this show already.
Like that's what I would think.
We're 13 minutes into it. It's already coming off.
It gets blown to shit.
It's already, this show's already been nuked.
Hey, it's all good.
No, but like there was a wrestler named Jake the Snake Roberts, and there was also one named Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. They both wrestled in the 80s, 90s. Both of them heavy drinkers, heavy drug users, and so both of them had a friend in Diamond Dallas Page, and Diamond Dallas Page took them out of their situations, out of their house, and put them moved them into his house, away from all the drugs, all the alcohol, everything. And he got them just doing his DDP yoga, which I'll tell you, I love the DDP yoga program. Helps out your back a lot, my knees, it's great. Anyone ever tells you that yoga's for sissies, let me tell you something. DDP yoga, it ain't your mama's yoga.
Yeah. It's
prolonged wrestlers' careers like AJ Styles
wow.
and Chris Jericho. No, but Honky Tonk Man had come out and he was like, and I'm gonna give you his accent, his southern,
Okay.
crappy, terrible human being. Like, I don't ask that Razor Ramon if he wanted to come out and drink with me again, and he was like, no. I was like, you effing Mark, you piece of crap. And I'm like, really? The man nearly died. He's off of drugs, and you're trying to put him back onto drugs? Like, you are a vile human being just because you want someone to do drugs with. That guy is like, whenever you think of like jaded girlfriends that'll spread rumors about you, that's Honky Tonk Man with the wrestling business. He will go on any shoot interview, any shoot podcast, and he'll just run his mouth about how much he hates everybody.
Wow.
No, I can't stand Honky Tonk Man. He's one of like my. I don't like him at all. I think he's a crappy human being. But no, he was on there. But like they, not Honky Tonk Man, but like Triple H is on there saying like, oh, we like told him like there was a problem with him and there was a problem with Reed because Reed kept failing the psychological and the drug test that WWE has before he passed, and Rick puts a lot of Reed's death on him. I mean, in all honesty, they use, and I'm not trying to sound really scummy, but they use Reed a lot in their programming and when they talk about Rick. Like, if you ever want to invoke emotion with Ric Flair, you always bring up Reed.
Yeah.
And like there was like I said, his daughter Ashley became a wrestler, Charlotte Flair, because it was Reed's dream. So she wanted to do it, and he talked her into it. And so right at the very end right before he passed, she signed for WWE as a developmental talent. And now she's one of the top wrestlers in the world. And I mean, in my opinion, she's the best female wrestler in the world. She's phenomenal. She's an athletic freak. They say she's a genetic freak, but just athletically just great. Well, I mean, because Ric Flair, genetic freak.
Yeah.
But there was a promo with her and then a current wrestler who's injured, Paige. She's a British wrestler. And they wanted to get sympathy behind Charlotte, so what do? You bring up Reed, and you get the crowd going crazy, and you show like Charlotte crying, Rick crying, because that's just what they do to invoke. Like they use Reed a lot to invoke emotion. So like if you've ever watched Ric Flair promo like specials or know about Ric Flair after his career, you know that story is very traumatic for him and his family, and rightfully so. It's a very sad story to hear. But like they would have that story, and then it got into like Triple H threatening to beat him up if he didn't go to rehab.
What?
It's just Triple H is Triple H nowadays. He does the same. Like when he does the interviews, he does the same thing. He sits on one couch. It looks like the same damn couch.
Black carries it with him.
Dress shirt. Black pants, and then like the first two buttons undone. Between the Triple H's special that Kingdom Come and then this Ric Flair 30 for 30, same poses, same everything. I love Triple H. I think he's I think he's a revolutionary when it comes to the business. I think he will always be considered as selling out because he married the boss's daughter. But regardless,
you
Triple
kind of
H
put a target on yourself when you do that.
Yeah, that's.
You knew what he was doing.
His story is really interesting. I like him a lot, and a lot of people hate him. I don't. A lot of people think he's like a liar and he's fake and all this. But at the end of the day, WWE books their strong guys. Like their champs are Brock Lesnar. Their champs are Jinder Mahal. Both guys chiseled, muscular, big guys.
Swole.
AJ Styles, who they just won the belt off on Tuesday, he's been in the WWE for 3 years. He's been wrestling as one of the top wrestlers for 15.
Wow.
He was with a rival company, and then he went to New Japan because of the no-compete clause in the contract, and then he got to the WWE. AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Shorter dude. He's considered not that big. He's not jacked. He's not chiseled. Like Roman Reigns is someone that is like a Vince guy, where he's Samoan, he's good looking, he's in great shape. Whereas like a Triple H guy is a Kevin Owens, where he's a great wrestler. He looks like an average Joe though. He's got a big belly. He's not 6'7". You know, he's not huge. So I mean, a lot of people always rip apart Triple H. He gives those guys chances, and that's why I like him. So yeah, back to the 30 for 30s though. Let's get back to that. So if you could make any 30 for 30, any documentary, any sports figure at all.
Documentary on a sports figure.
Yeah,
huh?
or like one of those like biopics, so like 42 or like those type of things. Anything at all. Okay,
I got
go ahead.
The Philly Fanatic.
Really?
The Philly Fanatic.
Why?
Because I just watched a video, right? Now, okay, I told you I was looking at memes for an hour, okay? I'm educated on this. I'm educated on it. No, I've got a reason for this. Ready? You know, everyone knows your favorite mascot, Philly Fanatic, right? You see all these videos, Philly Fanatic. Well, there's this one where he's dancing around, right? He's messing with a security guard. He's getting the crowd all happy, you know. And then out of nowhere, the security guard pushes him away and dances his ass off. And what happens to the Philly Fanatic? He's over there. I mean, this is his job, right? His job is on the line. This is his job. This is his deal here. And you've got this nobody out here showing him up. Like, what do you think that does to a man? Like, his whole life, his livelihood is resting on this moment right now.
So you want the voice to come in, what if I told you that not all legends were created on the field?
Exactly. Precisely that right there. I'm telling you what do you think the Phillies would be without the Philly Fanatic? What do you think?
I mean, the Phillies are terrible with or without the Fanatic. They're more popular than the Fanatic. People recognize them more.
People know
if the
Philly
Fanatic
Fanatic.
Honestly, if the Fanatic wasn't there at this point, I mean, I don't think people would know the Phillies were a team.
Yeah, exactly.
They would just be like, oh, isn't that the Pirates AAA team? No, that's an MLB team. No shit.
You think about the Phillies, you think about the Philly Fanatic, and I tell you what, there are some stories behind that mask. All right, there are some stories.
The Philly Fanatic?
There are some stories behind that mask. I want to know everything about that man. Whatever it is, Green Monster, I don't know. I want to know everything about him. All right.
So I was gonna go serious.
Hey!
I was gonna say Peter Maivia or like Joe Louis or like Clyde. But I mean, at this point, since the wheels have come off, I'm going to pick Mang, that 1980s wrestler I was telling you about, because I just want a collection of stories of people going, because Mang was, one, a nice guy, two, the wrestlers loved him, and three, back then people thought it was real, so people didn't know he really spoke English. They thought he was really just like this Samoan caveman monster
who just crawled out of somewhere and found a wrestling ring and started beating people down.
Exactly. So there was like one story where I think it was him. No, it wouldn't have been Hogan. I think it was him and Iron Sheik. No, Iron Sheik. I take that back. I want an Iron Sheik 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Iron Sheik's Twitter?
Never. No. I don't know how to use Twitter. Let's go over this.
Oh my goodness. So Iron Sheik by far has one of the best Twitters I think ever.
Okay.
So, he's at the Iron Sheik. Can you see the first pinned tweet?
Just read them off to me.
I can't read them off. There's way too many explicitives. Way too many explicitives. So what I'll do is I'll put it on my phone and I'll let you read them, and then you can kind of read them yourselves. Like I said, I can't have you go off and read them all because
is every other word just some.
Yeah, every other word is that way.
But I thought you said he didn't practically. People thought he didn't speak English.
No, I mean Iron Sheik was like the greatest.
Oh, Iron Sheik. Oh, yes. I thought you were talking about Mang.
No,
okay.
no.
Him.
Mang's a nice person. Iron Sheik, I think, is also like in the terms of wrestling. Iron Sheik is like one of the best wrestlers of all time when it comes to like bad guys and so on. I mean, Hulk Hogan got his big rub off the Iron Sheik. So, yeah, he's going through some of those tweets. Like I said, you can't read them out loud because they're at Iron Sheik. It is the Iron Sheik. But like, so his story's really inspiring. There's a documentary on Netflix about it.
Can I just say he says jabroni?
Oh, he loves jabroni.
Jabroni.
He said jabroni before The Rock did.
Jabroni.
Oh, he was the best. So like, he was a heater. Like, he just got so much hatred towards him. Just the way he talked to people. Oh my goodness. The Iron Sheik's one of the greatest of all time, and like his story is really, really like inspiring. Because he was I believe he's from Iran, like actually from Iran. And he had to escape Iran and get to America. They said he was like hiding under a military truck that got shipped in on a cargo plane to the United States. That's how he got here.
Huh.
So he like smuggled himself into the United States to get here, or just to escape Iran at the least. And then he's an amazing, accomplished amateur wrestler, and he actually used to do camps with the U.S. wrestling team.
Wow.
So you get that side of him where it's like, oh, he's a great human being. It's a very inspirational, motivational story.
And then you get the Twitter side.
You get the Twitter,
and it's like, who is this? This is not him. What are you talking about?
Well, that's the funniest thing was they showed. So you saw the picture of the Iron Sheik with the guy next to him, right?
Yeah.
The guy next to him is the one who tweets everything he says.
Oh my god.
So there's a guy who puts a filter on, and the
I'm sure it's probably worse than what's
now
showing up.
Twitter went from 120 characters to
280.
280.
Yeah.
So now you got even more.
You've got more Iron Sheik. More.
So I just cannot.
More explicits. More jabronis.
One of his most famous lines, and I'm going to censor a little bit, is "I will F you in the A and make you humble." He tweets that all the time.
I saw that. I saw that when you showed it to me. Yeah.
He always says, "I will make you humble." It's just hysterical. So I'd love to have a Iron Sheik
30 for 30.
It would just be hysterical.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, ESPN's starting to get a little lackluster with the 30 for 30s because this is next week there's another one. Oh no, next week's the two Bills, Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. They have 4 about the U from the 80s and 90s. They're just churning those things out because the first one was so successful.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to see an Iron Sheik. It'd be hysterical just to hear all. Because the thing too is there was one person Sheik said could keep up with him when it came to drinks and everything else. That one person, Mang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can integrate Mang into the stories. Because back in the 80s, the heels drank with the heels and partied with the heels. The faces partied with the faces. There was no fourth wall breaking at the time. People thought people legitimately hated each other as wrestlers. So they weren't allowed to ride. They were friends, but they weren't allowed to ride together or be seen out in public together. So they talked about that with the Ric Flair promo 30 for 30 last night with Dusty Rhodes.
Wow.
So yeah. Speaking of some heat and not being allowed to be seen with each other.
Yeah.
The Knicks.
Uh-huh.
We started with that Porzingis interview.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
I was going to slowly transition into it because my 30 for 30 is going to be about Clyde. A Knicks point guard who was like Ric Flair, styling and profiling, swishing and dishing, the fur coats, the mutton chops, the fro, back when it's considered the golden age of the Garden when he was there. But now we're gonna half-ass that transition into it.
Okay.
So the Knicks.
Boom, new topic.
Yeah,
Let's go.
exactly. The Knicks are now 6-4. Supposed to be the worst team in the NBA. They're 6-4 right now. They're facing the Pistons tonight for what I believe.
Now we don't have our math guy, but if I am correct, that is over 500, right? 6-4.
Let me look. Oh, hold on. Let me look at the producer over here. Yep, that would be over 500.
Over 500. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he's got the sign. Yes, it would be over 500.
Thumbs up. Good.
So here's the thing: if the Knicks win tonight against the Pistons, they will be the third best team in the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a moment. The New York Knicks. Maybe.
Your New York Knicks.
I mean, I've learned from my internship at the station, you're not supposed to say your
No, I didn't mean it like
I see what you're saying though. But so I always have to say the New York Knicks.
I meant to everybody.
I love the New York Knicks.
Everybody's New York
that is
Knicks.
the team I support and I love. I love the Knicks. So here's my thing. I know you're not into basketball, so I'm gonna try and explain what's great about them as easy as possible.
Okay.
So they had drafted in the NBA. There's a lot of foreign players that get drafted.
Oh, I know that.
So
that
there's
much I do know.
There's a little bit. I don't know if it's bigotry or just ignorance, where people think the Knicks are terrible because half their team is foreigners. You got of the starting lineup. If it's gonna be pretty soon, it will be the rookie Frank Ntilikina, France, Courtney Lee, America, and then Tim Hardaway Jr., America. The 4 would be either Kristaps Porzingis, Latvia, or Enes Kanter of Turkey, and then the 5th would be one or the other. Because Porzingis is 7'3".
Oh my god!
So there's another player in the NBA named Dirk Nowitzki. He plays the power forward position, and then the center is still smaller than him. But sometimes they interchange it. So Porzingis and Kanter are 4 and 5. They interchange in the starting line between 4 and 5. But both of them start regardless.
Okay.
One's from Turkey, one's from Latvia. So you got France, Latvia, Turkey. Then on the bench, you've got Willy Hernan-Gomez. He's from Spain. Mindaugas Kuzminskas from Lithuania. And then you've got a couple other players, too, that are... so the team's majority foreign. And so a lot of people hate the Knicks for that reason.
Wow.
I don't care. And I'll be honest with you. This is my opinion. I'll get a little bit political with this because people like my Richard Spencer rant.
Sure.
And this is the truth, I think.
Okay.
If Michael Jordan, the next Michael Jordan, was in one of those banned countries when the ban was going on, I will put my life on the line that guy would be whoever had the first overall pick. It was Philadelphia. He'd be in Philadelphia the next day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because they will pay millions of dollars to get a guy out of that. Like, they do not, like, sports do not care.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. So Enes Kanter, when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder before he got traded, he actually he speaks out against the Turkish government. He does not support the government. There's a lot of revolting within that government in Turkey and a lot of censorship of free speech. So when he went back to Turkey, he got his visa revoked, and he was held there on conspiracy charges.
Wow.
It was the NBA and the Players Union, along with the Oklahoma City Thunder, that were able to push the United States government into getting Kanter back into America. So sports has a lot of power.
As I say, that's a big thing to do for like
sports
one guy.
breaks down barriers. Like, a lot of people think that like, sports is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people think it's just
every
about,
country's got sports, every single one.
Yeah. Well,
and it's not like every country has their own designated sport. You know, like we've got rugby in America. I mean, they've got football. They've got football in Europe. They've got football in Canada. You know, they've got basketball all over. You know, we've got sports from other countries that originated in other countries. You know, sports
yeah, I mean, that's
is
the
everywhere.
Athletes, just the athletes. Like,
even the athletes.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
you know, you talk about civil rights and you talk about the civil rights movement. 14 years before the civil rights movement even came, you had Jackie Robinson coming out of the Negro League playing in the MLB, in the majors. So, I mean, that was a breaking of the color barrier. You had Joe Louis, even before that, was fighting professionally, and he was a black boxer fighting a German guy who lived in the United States. They marketed it as an American versus a Nazi.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what they did back then. And so, like, you had this you have these social changes through sports. And I think because what happened, in my opinion, too, is that back in the 70s and 80s, but even before that, there was so much activism in sports. But when the 90s rolled around, there wasn't much. There really wasn't. Like, you didn't have guys like Michael Jordan taking a step against anything. And Michael Jordan gets a lot of flack for that. And Kobe never really took a stand against anything either. But now you've got, you know, what's going on with Kaepernick. You've got players taking knees. You've got the Golden State Warriors who say they won't go to the White House. Now you've got more teams that are saying if they were invited to the White House, they wouldn't go. So, you know, I think now we're getting back into what it used to be. Because back in Vietnam, there's a very synonymous picture, very infamous, of sports and activism. It was a press conference done by Cassius Clay, who is Muhammad Ali, Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, and Bill Russell. Those were the top figures of sports at the time, and they were taking a stand against the Vietnam War. They were using their platform of athletics to push their activist beliefs. And I think because we had that era where we didn't see it as much, now everyone's very shocked by it. I'm not surprised by it at all. I mean, Hollywood does it every year. Go watch the Oscars. Watch the Golden Globes. It's every single person's making a political statement.
I mean, anything that like reaches out to a lot of people. When you think about it, all those things are televised. You have people in union, like people like this player, people like you have a majority of people looking at one person, looking at a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're, you know, what they do. People are watching. It gets out. You know, it's not like if you or me were to go out somewhere and do that. Like I have no idea. Like say something right here. It's not like we'd have like a million people watching us and we'd spring up something. You know, it's sports is so huge and just like I said, it's so universal, and it's so many different types of people from different places. It speaks to a lot of people. It reaches a lot of people.
Yeah, so that's why I always like to talk about that. I mean, I find it very intriguing. I don't see this as any bit different as before. But let me get back to the Knicks. Let me get back to why I want to talk about the Knicks. So the Knicks had drafted a point guard from out of France with the name Frank Ntilikina, 19 years old. Still a kid, essentially. In my eyes, it's like people up until like 25 or so kids. Really.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I'm almost 20. You're 21. I'm almost 21. I have no idea what I'm
people
doing.
Still call, like, older people still call us kids. And I mean, in all honesty, just because you're a year out of high school doesn't mean that you're a grown man ready to deal with
You're a man
everything
now.
and like be able to know and understand everything going on in this world. Like you're still learning. So people just rip them apart because he doesn't score. He averages like 7 points a game in France. But, and I was telling Cam this, he doesn't show up in the stat sheet. But you know who also doesn't show up in the stat sheet? The player he guards. He is a lockdown defender. And the other night, which was going to be Sunday night game against the Pacers. The Knicks were down going into the fourth quarter by 16. Or going by 12. Going into the third, they were down by 16. Going into the fourth, they were down by 12. The last 4 possessions of the game on the Pacers was disrupted by Frank Ntilikina. Rather, he got a hand in, and it made the point guard pick up his dribble. Because he's still growing. He's a huge guy. He has one of the largest,
Yeah, well,
one
like
of the
I said,
longest.
he's still a kid. I mean,
He's got one of the longest wingspans amongst NBA players. So
Really?
he's got a very long wingspan. A lot of memes of him like as Mr. Fantastic.
really?
Oh yeah, he's got one of the longest wingspans amongst rookies and amongst point guards in the NBA. So when he switches up on a guy and he's playing a power, like when he gets moved to like a third or a 4 player, a 3 or a 4, he's still contesting a shot. It's not like he's playing like against a smaller Isaiah Thomas or an Allen Iverson type of guy. So he's just a really good defense. He has a 7-foot wingspan.
Wow.
7 foot. He is 6'5" right now. He's still growing. He was
Wow.
6'3" last year. So
That is
he's
just
growing
nuts.
a couple inches every single year. There are so many memes of like his arms just like touching the ground that like the Knicks fans always put up. No, but I love the guy because in all honesty, the way the Knicks are set up, you've got KP scoring 30 points a game. You've got Hardaway scoring 10 to 15. You got Cantor scoring 10 to 15. You don't need him to score. He was brought in because of how good his defense is, and you need to work on the scoring. But what he does do is he takes the few shots he takes, they're good shots. He's not just throwing the ball up willy-nilly. He's not forcing bad shots. He distributes the ball very well.
He's consistent.
He's consistently good. And so the Twitter on Sunday, the NBA Twitter was like, oh my God, Frank Ntilikina got a career high 10 points. And everyone's like, Lonzo Ball got 28 the other night. This is a joke. Lonzo Ball, the game after he got 28, you know how many points he scored in the 38 minutes he played? 0. The first time ever a Laker's ever done that.
Wow.
So he consistently will only get 5 to 8 points, but he also shuts down point guards. And to me, a lot of people still hate Frank Ntilikina, and I'm going to tell you this is what's going to change people's minds. So the Knicks are going to play a team like the Washington Wizards, where you got a guy like John Wall, a top point guard. Frank Ntilikina is not going to play that game. Like, he'll be hurt or something. John Wall will carve him up for like 40, okay? They'll play him again later in the season. Frank will be there. You'll see John Wall score like 15 points. And they'll win. The Knicks will win that game. And that's when people are going to realize, maybe Frank Ntilikina brings something to this team.
They're going to start, they'll take notice.
Well, like, they love him. He's got a good work ethic. The team's just, like, fun to watch. So, like, they're always distributing the ball. They're getting hyped. Like, when Frank hits a couple threes, I'm going nuts. Like, I'm getting more invested in it in the NBA game with the Knicks than I would with the Jets.
Yeah.
I am. Like, I love it. Like, it's just... And that's why I also want to talk later, too, getting into this of, is the NBA surpassing the NFL? Because there's been a lot of talks about it, but up until I always thought they were false, but up until July, I think it's true that the NBA has surpassed the NFL.
I absolutely think it's true, and I think it's true for a few reasons. One is, and like I said, I'm not even gonna get into this really, but one is like a very obvious reason, and it's just because of people's
I don't
differing
think it's because
opinions.
of Kaepernick.
Well, no, I think it's a factor because
I don't think it is.
Well, the only reason I think it's a factor, I don't think it's a major factor, but you have those people that have their radical views and will try to. You've had people burn jerseys.
I mean, people burn
jerseys are expensive.
Jerseys were burned in basketball too. You got baseball players. I mean, burning jerseys.
But I'm saying you've always got those people that are. That's going to
jerseys
spark
will
people to
always
say,
get
all right,
burned.
I'm not going to watch. I'll do my own thing.
Jerseys
I'm not.
will always get burned.
But I think it's that, and I think it's the same. The same team keeps winning. I mean, honestly, like I hate the Patriots. Like seriously. But in the NFL, Brady's got 5 rings, and in how many years? How many years has it been?
I mean, almost 20.
20 years?
Yeah, he's been playing since I think 90.
Well, since he's been a starter.
Yeah, he's been around. But I mean, here's the thing though.
Well,
In
recently,
the NFL,
okay.
Yeah, he's got
Let me put it
5 rings
recently.
in maybe 10, 15 years.
Okay, you look at the past like 10 Super Bowls. How many times have the Patriots been in there?
Oh, that's easy.
That's what I'm saying. Is you can always count on the Patriots being there, and it's boring.
But then on the other side, though, in the NBA, every playoff's going to feature LeBron. Every finals has featured LeBron. LeBron, career-wise, has one of the worst finals records ever because he was always there. He was always in the finals. I mean, before that, the Lakers with Kobe. Kobe won a bunch of rings. Shaq and Kobe won 4 back-to-back rings. I think they went to 5 finals straight, back-to-back-to-back, 5 straight finals. I don't think it's that. I think it's just that I think it's 2 things. One, NBA is a much more expressive sport. Like, you got guys that'll say whatever they want on the court. They'll do whatever they want. They'll dress like how they like. It's more cultural, I'd say.
I don't know what you mean by that because you have people like Cam Newton that'll dress how they want and say the things they want. You've got people, you know.
Yeah, but like that's a couple guys. Like Cam Newton will do it for a press conference. Russell Westbrook has just been known for dressing and acting and talking. And another thing too is, there's just been players. NBA players are much more marketed than NFL players. I don't know why. I'm gonna guess, and this could be wrong. I think it's just because NBA players just see their face.
That might be why.
Like, because in an NFL game, like think about right now how many NFL players you've seen with commercials on in the past month. Because Cam Newton just got pulled. They pulled Cam Newton off the 000 commercials. Now it's Russell Wilson. They haven't put any Russell Wilson commercials together yet. But you've got Von Miller. You've got the Old Spice.
Yeah.
Odell for Head and Shoulders. Can you think of any other ones?
Dak Prescott with Tostinos. That's not a commercial, but they've got ads with him in it.
They've got it. Okay.
They've got
Dak
ads
Prescott
with
Tostitos.
Dak Prescott Tostitos. I mean, yeah, no, you got a point there.
But like, think about this: Kia, Blake Griffin. Those are ads they always play. LeBron with Kia. You've got Shaq with Buick. These are just cars. You've got James Harden, Foot Locker, always running Foot Locker ads with James Harden. You've got Steph Curry with cars and Under Armour commercials. You've got.
Well, see, here's the thing though. When you watch those commercials, when are they? When do they come up?
I mean, they're all year round.
Yeah, but do they come up on the channels that you watch the basketball on?
I mean, they come on the same channels you watch football on.
I haven't seen any. I have seen none. I've seen 0.
Get ready because they're gonna start coming.
I've seen
now that the season started,
0.
they're gonna roll around. No, I mean they're on everything I've seen. They're on
0.
Turner, which
I'll tell you this right now, though.
That's a good argument, though. I do like. No, you are right about that. Now that I think about it, they are on a lot. They're on much more. The shows that broadcast basketball, like they're on Turner a lot. Mm-hmm. They're on, but then again, like they're on Turner. Turner owns like everything. Like every station is like. When you think about it, there's like NBC, CBS, which I think CBS isn't Turner, and then there's like Turner. And Disney right now is trying to buy Fox, so Fox is on its own right now.
Disney's trying to buy Fox?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Disney's trying to buy
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, Disney right now is in talks to acquire 21st Century Fox. Someone made a joke like a year and a half ago that the world was going to be run by Walmart and Amazon. It's going to be run by Disney and Amazon, I think. I think Disney will own all media pretty soon. Jeez. Like, they've got almost everything.
You're going to have Mickey Mouse.
Do you know Disney owns ESPN?
Do they really?
Yeah, they own ESPN. Do you know they own Turner, too?
No, I had no idea.
ESPN owns Turner Sports.
I had
Turner,
no idea.
Turner Broadcasting, yeah. They also own ABC.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this right now, though. Getting back to is the NBA getting getting more popular than the NFL?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. I'm not that into basketball, but I know when sports are happening.
I like it that you're not into basketball because like it helps because you don't know a lot about basketball, so you know when people are talking about basketball, you know it's important.
Well, what I'm trying to say here is, you know when football's on. You absolutely know. Sundays, all day long. You know what channels they're on, the main channels. You know, you got your NBC. You know, you've got, and you've got, your Thursday and your Monday night, prime time.
Yep.
I can never tell when a basketball game is on. Ever.
Oh,
I don't know when
Fridays.
I don't know when it's
Wednesdays,
televised,
Thursdays, and
where
Fridays
it's televised.
Are always the big ones. You see, that's just a ritual thing. You just gotta get into the ritual.
See, that's the problem. If they made it more accessible, if they said, "Hey, this
the
day
big argument
we're
has
showing
always
this,"
been the games
or look at Yes with the Yankees. They got every single one of their games. They got a channel specifically for that. If
Well,
they
yes
made it
is-
more accessible for
we
you
have
to
to
watch
def-
NBA games, it would be more popular.
Yes is unfair because don't you know what yes stands for?
I know it's not. I know it's not actually like. Is it Yankees? Yeah, it's Yankees
It's a
Entertainment
Yankees channel.
Yeah, I know that.
MSG. Turn on MSG. You'll get every Knicks game and Rangers game you want.
Well, what I'm saying is they should make it more. I'm not disagreeing with you on any way. I'm
No, I see what
saying
you're
that
though. You want to know, like you want to
if it was more accessible, yeah, like because I'm saying like.
I mean, go to Bleacher Report.
But the thing is you know, like you don't even have to watch football to know Sundays football.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing with football is that you know when it's coming.
Yeah, that's why I think it's
But
more
I mean,
popular.
NBA's on almost every single day.
That's what I'm saying. And if you knew if a channel or certain channels every day played one team, or like they had packages, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you have the league pass, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
like if they had it more accessible.
If they had a more synonymous day of like Wednesdays or like Saturdays are for the boys,
I'm not
Thursdays for the NBA.
I'm not even saying synonymous days. I'm saying like you don't know, like they're not showing every Knicks game. They're not showing every like
Well, that has to do with
Celtics game.
who's got that has to do with who's got the rights to it.
See, that's
like the NFL.
If
the
they
NFL is
wanna
the same
be-
way because CBS owns games and Fox owns games. That's why there's different calling crews for certain things.
But
So-
you could still see those games. You know what I'm saying? You can still see them on Sunday.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
see
know,
what
like that, like and they're on the main channels. Like if they made it more
depending on
accessible,
where you live.
depending on where you live, yes. But
Like I can't watch any Jacksonville Jaguars games here.
yeah, no, like we're not watching like Chargers games or anything like
I
that.
know that's ridiculous. I want my San Jose Sharks guys. That's NHL.
But if they put it on the more primetime channels, like they used to have NBA and NBC, right? They used to do that.
Yeah, they used to.
Like if they had it on the more like
I mean,
main
TNT's
channels.
a huge. I mean, in all honesty, TNT's huge. Like they get a lot of their market from the NBA.
But you look at basic cable, people that have basic cable. I mean, there's probably not many that just have basic cable. But look at the basic
No, I
channels.
see what you're saying there.
It's not there.
That's what you're saying.
It's less accessible
Well,
in
it
the
is.
NFL.
It is in the finals. The finals.
The
and that's
finals.
and that's where the final. That's where part of it is. And when I'm talking ratings, the NFL always reigns supreme when it comes to Super Bowl. But I think culturally, because the Super Bowl, people watch the Super Bowl for a plethora of reasons.
I know they do
Commercials,
the
the
halftime show. It has a lot to offer.
Yeah, it's a spectacle.
Yeah,
It's
it's got
entertainment.
things for everybody to
It's
watch.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like it's got celebrities, it's got music, it's a spectacle. It's a once in a year spectacle of sports.
So bottom line, I think it's possible for the NBA to become like bigger than the NFL if they took a few steps like that.
I'd say ratings wise, they're not. But I'd say culturally, amongst people, I'd say they are. Because here's the thing. When Saturday rolled around, like a few weeks right Saturday before the NBA season started, there was a breaking story that happened. Two breaking stories. One was Ezekiel Elliott starting. The other one was a trade. Every single, and this isn't a joke, every single sports station, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, NBA, NBC Sports, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN, all those
goddamn
stations,
ESPN
the
channel.
headline story, like you know how they put the little headline story on
Yes.
the bottom, or sometimes they'll throw a little picture of the player up during the game.
Yes.
And then the halftime stories. The number one lead was not Ezekiel Elliott coming in. It was breaking news. Carmelo Anthony of the New York Knicks has been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest story. So when you're the director of ESPN and you're going and you got two hot leads of, hey, I got breaking news, Melo got traded, breaking news, Zeke's gonna play. And you're on Saturday. Saturday's college football.
Yeah. I know
NBA
what
hadn't
that
even
is.
started yet. And what was the lead story they went with? Carmelo.
Well, that's just a bigger shock to people. Like that's breaking news. The Zeke Elliott thing had been going on for a while.
Huge. It's because this was his first appeal. This was the first time they'd said, "All right, Zeke is."
Yeah, but you already knew what was going on. Like you already knew that there was a dispute there, and that he could be. You know that story already happened.
Yeah, but
the
that's
Carmelo
still
Anthony
huge.
was a shock, and you think Carmelo Anthony,
Because
you
the
think
thing
Knicks.
is Zeke's going to play on the following day on Sunday. Carmelo's not going to play for another 12 days.
I just don't think it was because it was bigger. I think it was. I think it was because it was just a more shocker.
Look at the story of
like imagine Tom Brady got traded off the Patriots. Tom Brady has been on the Patriots for, like you said, like 20 years.
Yeah, but
Carmelo Anthony.
Tom Brady is nowhere near, or Carmelo Anthony's nowhere near Tom Brady.
I'm just saying he's one of those like franchise. Like you think Knicks, Carmelo Anthony. It's a bigger shock than Zeke, the second year guy, may play this Sunday.
Yeah, but that's a football
you know?
story, though. You're going to football fans that are going to be turning to watch the football game, and the football story should be first. Then the second story would be
Well,
Melo.
what was the show? What was it?
It was
on
the
there?
halftime shows for the football.
Yeah, and you said it was on the bottom
ticker.
thing.
The bottom ticker was always Melo.
Yeah, but the bottom ticker says like a bunch of stuff.
No,
You know
it
what
was just continually Melo. When breaking news happens like that, like when huge breaking news happens, they just will continue.
I just think you may be blowing a little texting out of proportion.
No, because like
I said, I think the reason it was there was just because it was more of a
then
shocker.
Think about it this way,
because
too.
even I don't like I said, I don't watch the NBA, but I know about Carmelo Anthony. Okay,
Well, you know about
obviously.
Carmelo Anthony because you live here in Syracuse.
Exactly, and I know
Most
how
people
big he
around
is,
here
and I know
don't.
how big he is for
But
the
see,
Knicks.
he's not as big everywhere else. He's big in New York City and Syracuse. In all honesty, he really isn't that much bigger anywhere else. Like at the end of the day, when you go, all right, who are the top players in the NBA? Melo's not on the list.
I know,
it's
but
always
when-
Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron.
Exactly, but when you
Kawhi
think
Leonard.
Knicks, who do you think top player?
But when you
Carmelo
think NBA,
Anthony.
you don't think of the Knicks. Honestly, it's
No,
Kristaps Porzingis.
I
People like
understand
Porzingis
that,
more.
but like, okay, he's
And the thing is, the trade was inevitable. It wasn't a big shocker. He said he wanted to leave, and the Knicks had been for 2 months they had this trade going together. So it was just like the Zeke thing, where it's like, all right, you know he's gonna get traded. It's just a matter of if not, or it's just a matter of when, not if. So you know it's coming. And then it was supposed to be Houston, and then it just turned out to be Oklahoma City. I think it was more of a speculative because think about this too. The summer, ESPN was dominated programming wise. Was dominated, even during spring training for the NFL. It was dominated by the free agency of the NBA over the MLB too. Like It was dominated with the trades of Jimmy Butler at the draft, the trades of Paul George, the trades of Carmelo, the trade of Chris Paul going to Houston. Like they were just dominated with.
See, now
these
I think
huge
these are
trades.
big to you because you watch the NBA. Like
See,
I
no,
didn't
to
hear
me,
about
it's not
any of
big
this.
To me, it's big to me because I watch ESPN so much, and like when it happens, that's the story they cover for the full day. Like when Kevin Durant said he was going to Golden State, the last time something that big happened was when LeBron said he was going to Miami. There's never been a free agency in the NFL that has been as big as NBA. When it comes to free agency and off season, the NBA always trumps the NFL.
Yeah, and that's why I think the Carmelo Anthony thing was big. Like I said, because it was bigger, but I don't think that makes it culturally bigger.
Well, see, I do because if you're putting it on there like that and you're making it as much of a big of a spectacle, that means people care about it. If people didn't care, they wouldn't show it.
Well, obviously
Like, it would
people
be a
care about
backup
it, and the
story.
NBA is a big thing. Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's turned into, like I said, the NFL.
Well, here's the thing.
NFL's
Carmelo
not
Anthony is more established than Ezekiel Elliott. This is his second year. Like I said, you think Dallas Cowboys, you don't think
Yeah, but-
Ezekiel Elliott,
Yeah,
you don't
but
think I mean you do now.
Melo's like a as much as I like Melo, he's like a C+ story. Like at the end of the day,
Okay, but when it comes to the Knicks though, you're thinking
but
NBA
not
overall.
many people like the Knicks. The Knicks aren't a hot topic. They're a terrible
Okay,
team.
what else was going on in the NBA at that time? Was there
You-
anything else to report that was bigger than the Carmelo Anthony trade
Well,
in the NBA at that time? Was
No.
there?
No, there wasn't.
That's exactly why they showed it. Because it was the Knicks, and it was big for the Knicks.
Well, see, it wasn't really big for the Knicks. It was just big that a player in the NBA got traded. It was more of like an NBA team. The New York gives a certain factor because like Aaron Judge, I will agree with you. Like New York media always gives, like you always get that rub when the New York media is buzzing. That's when things get interesting. Like when New York teams are winning, you will get coverage of New York teams winning 24/7. Like when the Knicks are winning a lot of games coming up soon, you're gonna get a lot of that. Look at how much coverage was about the Yankees on ESPN.
I know. No, I
So
know.
much because
Yeah,
when the
no.
New York teams win, they get the coverage. And Melo wasn't winning with the New York Knicks, so that's why kind of the reason why they did it. I mean, I think that I think it's close, but I think pretty soon you're going to start seeing the NBA is going to start passing the NFL.
I don't think
because every
until
week the
they-
ratings are going down. They're averaging the ratings according to Forbes and Nielsen at least 2% a week. You've got a gradual decrease. 17% on this year, which was down 14% from the previous year before that. So the ratings are plummeting in the NFL. The NBA's ratings are going up every single year.
And I think what would help that is if they put it, like I said, on primetime channels, and you were able to see your team every day, like every game. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see.
It's just gonna be so difficult though. 82 games though, like because the teams play all the time, and then like
they do it with like I said, they do it with MLB. They show every single game.
They don't show every single
There's
game.
more than just yes. Yes, they do. They absolutely do.
ESPN does not show every single baseball
Not ESPN.
game.
No, I didn't say ESPN.
And Yes doesn't show every single game.
And if not, then it's some other network.
Like
you
MSG
can see
doesn't show every game.
Then
There's
it's
no
some other
station that
primetime
shows
network.
every single game for one team.
Okay, well, we have a local channel called My 9, correct? That is basic cable.
My 9.
Yeah, it's My 9. I used to have basic cable.
How do you spell that? I don't know what you're talking about.
It's
here.
literally My MY 9.
9.
My 9. My the number 9.
Okay, perfect.
When Yes isn't showing it, it's on My 9. It's a local channel. You can see it. It's basic cable.
But that's because
easily accessible.
But that's because that's. Oh yeah, okay, I see it. That's because that is. Oh, Fetty Wap busted.
It used to be on My 9. Like I said, I don't have cable anymore. But it was
My
on
9 is a
another
New
channel.
York channel.
That's what I'm saying. It's still accessible. It's easily accessible.
Yeah, but if you're a New York fan, if you're a Yankees fan in Texas, you're not getting My 9.
Well, then there's the internet.
But you got to pay for that. You got to pay to watch those games. You can't live stream a game. You have to pay for that. You got to pay for the exclusive. You have to pay the MLB for the season pass.
All I'm saying is I
The
think
NFL's the same way.
If they want,
If you're a Bills fan, you'll get all the Bills
but it's
games
easier
here.
to watch your team. It's easier. It's a lot easier because it's one day, all day long.
Yeah, because they only play.
Like
18
I can
games.
see the
Like
Chargers.
if the Knicks played 8, like if the NBA played like 20 games a season, you'd have that. But because they play 82 games a season, there's always a game going on at some point. And the MLB is the same way. There's always games going on.
So how are you gonna get people hyped for NBA if they can't see every
You
game?
hype 'em up
Did you
for
catch
big
that game last night?
matchups.
No, it wasn't on TV. What am I supposed to say about it? I didn't watch this. I can only look at numbers on a stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? The NBA or the NFL,
Well,
you can watch it happen. There's highlights like, oh my God, look at this. This happened. Did you see that last night? Yeah, I did. Prime time, Thursday night football, Monday night football. Everybody is watching two teams.
That's not true.
That's 100% true. What do you
No,
mean?
it's
Like
not.
I can watch two teams that are totally out of my range on
Yeah,
Thursday
but
night
that's
or Monday night.
that's one national. You can do that with the NBA too. ESPN does that, and so does
But
TNT.
ESPN isn't prime time as NBC, CBS. This is what I'm saying. They need it more easily accessible. You have to go to ESPN. Not everybody has ESPN. Like I said, there are some people that still have basic cable.
Yes, I think ESPN's put basic cable.
It's not. It
because
is
we have
not.
basic cable here, and it's got ESPN on it.
Then I have no idea. But
Like the NBA makes a lot of money.
Then
off
let me
ESPN.
put it this way: people who don't even watch. Like I said,
Because
people who aren't
football
in
is a
sports.
football ritual. Fridays high school, Saturdays college, Sundays pros. That's a ritual. College is the NBA is all over the place. Like, what is the big cultural thing in basketball? Finals in April, March Madness, because you know when it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that I see what you're saying with that. But with the NBA, like the games are on all the time. It's the same thing with the NFL. You can't watch any game you want. You gotta pay for those. That's why there's Red Zone.
Yeah,
And that's why there's League Pass and Sunday Ticket, because like if you're watching like for the Knicks and then for the Bills.
Well, here's the way I'm going to put it for you. It's easier because my stepmom is a Broncos fan. Now, the Broncos are in Denver. I don't know if you know where Denver is, but it's really far from here. Okay?
Are you sure about that? Let me ask the man. How far away is Denver? He says pretty. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word that Denver's
It's pretty far. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'll take your word.
Now, I can watch most of their games. They show most of their games.
Yeah.
It's easier to watch a team. Like I could be a team of the Chargers, or I could be a team of the Broncos. It's easier to watch all of their games on prime time. You know, on Sunday. You know when it is. It's on channels people know about. It's just easier is all I'm saying. I'm saying if they found a way. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Well,
if they found a way to do it.
ESPN
like that.
broadcasts like 20 games of the Cavs on primetime every single season. TNT gets it. They do the same thing. There's just every week it's a different game. So like, it's just like the NFL. So where it's Friday night, like this Friday night's games.
But you're not
I'm
hearing what
sure
I'm
they
saying.
are.
This is what I'm saying. Like, look at
the
NBC
Broncos. The reason you're getting the Broncos is because the Broncos are a winning team, which is just like the NBA. You're gonna get the Cavs and the Warriors games all the time because they're winning teams. You're gonna get those nationally
Well,
syndicated.
listen to what I'm saying
24/7.
about the primetime channels. ESPN has all sports. Now,
Yeah.
NBC and CBS and all that, they don't have all sports. They've got the big time
Are
shows
you
and all this
sure?
stuff.
I'm
and
pretty sure the Today Show every day is rugby.
Okay.
I'm sure about that.
and they've got like commercials for the football games. You know what I'm saying? They've got
yeah,
people
they
that don't
promote their
watch
own
that.
product.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't have to show. Just put it on those channels. Just put it on one of them. Like NBA on NBC way back when. You know, you don't have to
Yeah.
show every game. Put it on there. People are seeing it. People are seeing commercials for it. You know, to see a commercial for TNT this Sunday or this Saturday, whenever they play the NBA game, you have to be on like regularly watching TNT if you're not an NBA fan. And I don't know a single person that's regularly watching TNT.
Yes,
Seriously.
You do. Yes, you do.
Is that you?
No, it's Swanee.
Swanee regularly watches TNT?
Yeah.
Why?
Because NBA on TNT is the best. Is the best. I don't care what anybody says. NBA on TNT is the best show when it comes to covering a sport. The NBA on TNT cast with Shaq, Chuck, Ernie, and Kenny. That is the best. Like they've won Emmys just for like comedy, because it's just a funny bunch of dudes. They're always like a trending thing. People love that show. The NBA on TNT, that is an incredibly popular show. And I tell anyone...
But not quite as popular as, like, let's say NCIS or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying here?
But it's the most popular, like, sports show, like, sports coverage show.
But if you want to raise ratings, maybe you're not reaching sports fans. You can't just limit it to sports fans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, the show's called NBA on TNT. I think you're going to have to.
You don't necessarily have to. Like you just have to think bottom line. You have to make it accessible to as many people as possible. You can't target a limit audience. Then it's going to grow super slow. I'm saying it's.
I mean, yeah.
Bottom line, the topic was is the
growing.
NBA going to be bigger than the NFL in the next coming years?
Yes.
And I say it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? Not unless they do these steps, because it'll take an extremely long time.
No, I see what you're saying.
That was the question at hand. I'm not disputing whether it's better. I'm not disputing anything. I'm disputing the question that was at hand.
See, I would say that I agree with you on that. When it comes to ratings and stuff, the NFL still was king. But I think when it comes to like pop culture,
but that wasn't the question.
Well, I mean, it is. Is the NBA surpassing in the NFL in terms of like pop culture and relevance?
What does it say directly? Read it to me.
Is the NBA surpassing the NFL?
See, now you didn't say exactly what. See, we're arguing two different things here.
Well, no, that's the whole point. That's why you would say if it's like, in what ways would it surpass? Like in terms of ratings, no, it's not gonna pass the. It's never gonna touch.
So
the Super Bowl.
Culturally, when you say culturally, are you telling me that like let's say like I'm talking about a video game like fan base, right? Like I can say League of Legends is cancer, but CS:GO is like top tier. Like look at Rick and Morty fans. Like they like people. I'm gonna use that as an example right now. I know this sounds like a long shot.
The wheels have come off this.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Time.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Got the reel out.
I'm gonna bring it back. You've got people that think that Rick, like they think that they watch Rick and Morty and they have the highest IQ ever, and you got people that think Rick and Morty is the stupidest thing.
Do they really think
people
that?
really think that? There was some like test, some like PhD did or something like that says you need a certain IQ or something to understand the jokes. So they're like, wow, I'm really smart. So they use it to raise their ego. But what I'm saying is culturally, that's like perspective. You know, you like the NBA, so you love the culture. You're thinking the culture is great. You're one of the Rick and Morty fans. You're a Rick and Morty fan. Do you know that you're a closet Rick and Morty fan?
I'm not a closet. I am a proud Rick and Morty fan.
Oh God, I'm leaving.
No. I love Rick and Morty.
But
I think it's a funny show. The season finale was hilarious.
But what I'm saying is your culture.
But I'm not going to go out there and tell people I'm smarter than everyone just because I watch Rick and Morty. I'm not going to be like, I understand all the nuances.
But that is what you're telling me. You're telling me that the NBA is culturally better than the NFL. That is what you're telling me.
Cultural popular. Nothing's ever better than anything.
What is cultural popularity?
Cultural popularity is like when it comes to we're running this company and we're running this brand like Powerade. I want a popular person for Powerade. Okay, who are we going to get? We want an athlete. We want a spokesman. Who do we get? Right there. Whoever you pick, that comes down to, if you pick LeBron, you're saying LeBron is the most popular athlete for your product. And so many products choose NBA players because they like the NBA players. And they're more marketable. The NBA players are more marketable than NFL players. It's so much easier to market an NBA player than it is an NFL player.
I'm not 100% sure about that, though. I can understand what you mean
by
like you see their faces.
It's so much easier to market an NBA player than an NFL player.
But like they show the NFL players' faces on the sidelines. Like you know what Richard Sherman looks like. You know what Tom Brady looks like. You know what a bunch of players look like. I don't know where. You know what I'm saying? There's only how many players on an NBA team?
15.
15 people.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you. I know at least what 15 people look like on a specific team.
So
because you see them at different
If I show you
points.
faces of NFL players,
this is what you're
if
gonna
I
do.
show
to me.
you faces
No.
of members on the Eagles, will you be able to tell me who they are?
This is what you're gonna do to me. You're gonna do like the assistant, like towel outbringer. That's
no,
what
I
you're
would.
gonna do
I
to
would
me.
show you starting players, and you would tell me who they are.
Sure, go ahead right now. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can do it because, like, I don't know how.
Now
like,
it may be a little
you're
tough.
You're gonna.
Listen,
Oh, you know what? I know how to do it. I'll do it on my phone.
It may be a little tough though because
I'll do it on my phone
we did just
because
draft
that way.
We did just get a bunch of new players, so it may be a little tough.
Oh, so that's where we draw the line, right?
No, I'm not talking about like Jay Ajayi. I'm talking about like the rookies and stuff like that. Like you don't know them yet.
I'm not gonna bring up like 4th round picks, but I'm gonna bring up
Okay.
guys who are important to your team.
Okay, sure.
So, let me see what I can find here. All right. Who is this strapping young gentleman right there?
Isn't that?
Can you tell me who this gentleman is?
I'm like almost 100% sure that he's like. Was he? How many years has he been on the team or in the NFL?
How many years have you been there? I can't
Yeah.
tell you that because then you're going to know. You're an Eagles fan. You should know who this guy is. Come on.
Man, I guess you got a point. What the?
That's my point. And I'm not. You aren't. Believe me, I'm just as bad. I don't know. I honestly, Marcus May, I am not really.
Okay, but listen, he's not in any commercial or anything. Let me ask you this: you know what Wentz looks like, right? You know
no,
what
that's
Fletcher
what
Cox
I'm
looks
saying.
like.
That's why players are. That's why I'm saying is NBA
You know
players
what?
are easier to market.
They're not though. The thing is there's so little. There's so little players on an NBA team.
Yes, there's room for. There's always a superstar on every team now.
No, so you see more of them. What I'm saying is like it's not like they're like how many people are on an NFL team? So many, like including coaches.
Technically 55, but yeah, there's always like 60. 55
So you can show me one, and yeah, maybe I won't know it, but you know what Antonio Brown looks like. You know what Ben Roethlisberger looks like. You know what Wentz looks like. You know what Ezekiel Elliott looks like. You know what Dak Prescott looks like. Like I'm just naming these offhand, different teams. Joe Flacco, Colin Kaepernick. Like they're all a bunch of them overall. I'm guarantee you that there are just as many NFL spokesmen as NBA.
We mean by spokesman,
like people that their faces have been in commercials, at least at one point or another, because you're also forgetting in the beginning of games and everything, and like when they show like their stats and everything, they show their face. They do.
Okay, I got one for you then. Let me ask you this: who is this strapping young gentleman right here? He's on TV. He's in commercials. He's an NFL player. Can you tell me who that is?
Current NFL player?
It's a current NFL player. Can you tell me who this strapping young gentleman is? I can't tell you how long he's been in the league.
What team is he on? Who the hell?
He's in a team wearing a red jersey. I can't tell you that. You'll know these things if I tell you what team they're on. And that's the whole point of marketing a player. Like you'd be like, oh, when I think of this team, I think of this guy. And that's why it's so much easier to market the Knicks, like and the NBA teams. You have any guesses for me?
No, I have no idea. Who the hell is it?
Joe Staley, the left tackle for the 49ers.
Okay, what's he in?
He's in the Pepsi commercials.
What one?
The No Fun Zone. He's doing the worm.
Oh,
Okay,
but listen. The point of that was because he's not a spokesperson. They say, and I know exactly what commercial you're talking about. That's a bad example. They say he's never going to get a touchdown. He's not in anything. They're using the point that he's not relevant.
Okay,
come on.
I'll give you.
Come
more.
on.
I can use
That's
more.
a terrible example because guess who else is in those Pepsi commercials? Antonio Brown,
Okay.
right? And the point of it is because he has those special dances. The point of him is that he's not in anything. That's the point of that commercial. Is that you're not supposed to know who he is because he doesn't score touchdowns, because he's not there. That's the point of that commercial.
No, okay, all right, fine.
Come
I'll give
on.
you that one. All right, fine. You want that one? But like to me, you could do that for a random NBA player. You'd still get people to do you get to watch it. Like
I don't think so because, like I said, I don't know any NBA players. Any. I mean, I'm not saying any. I do know some. Like I know, what's that? The guy with the beard, Hardy.
James Harden.
Harden.
And that's exactly why, because that's what I mean by marketing. Like name a random guy, name any guy you can think of in the NFL with a beard.
With a beard?
Yeah, like just right off the top of your head, name
Jason
me
Peters.
that you're gonna market your company behind, where it's gonna be like, okay, when I think of facial hair, I'm gonna think of this guy.
Facial hair?
Yeah, because that's what happens. You think of the beard. You're thinking James Harden.
The beard?
That's his name. Nickname
Not
is
that
The
many
Beard.
people have like that. It's also because of how his beard is. You realize?
Well, no, I mean there's NFL.
Like,
players
look at
there's NFL
not with
players
that kind of beard.
Have you ever heard of Brett Keisel, my man? Brett Keisel used to have a beard that's huge.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. You've never heard of Brett Keisel?
No, I absolutely have not.
So Brett Keisel was a player back in the. I think he retired. Yeah, he definitely retired. He's 40.
I'm gonna take a look at this.
Brett Keisel was a player for the Steelers, way back when, the old days. The old days of like 2010. Yeah, he used to have that big beard. He was a defensive lineman. He was synonymous with the beard because what he would do is he'd grow it.
I guess I do know who you're talking about.
So what he would do is he'd chop it off sometime. I think it was March he would cut it off. He would do it for like, you know how there's like St. Baldrick's?
Yeah.
He'd cut it off there and then he would just grow it. He'd cut his beard once a year. And so like there'd be a whole spectacle and the coaches would come.
I've seen him before.
Like it's a really great moment. It's really lighthearted. People
but you put him on a commercial because he's got that facial feature. You'll recognize who he is. You'll know his name. You're like, yeah, that's the guy with the beard. When someone has like an overwhelming facial feature, like let's say someone has big glasses. Look at Von Miller and his glasses. Von Miller and his glasses. They're synonymous.
Yeah, and but think about this though, and that's the point though. How many times do you see Von Miller wearing glasses during a game?
Well, you can't do that.
That's the point. You get to see James Harden have that beard out. You get to see
That's
LeBron
because it's attached to his face. Your glasses are not attached to your face.
Yeah, but you can't see Brett Kiesel's beard a lot. You don't see it as much because you got the chin strap and the helmet covering it, and he's huddled into the ground in a 3-point stance. You can't see it as well as you would see James Harden jogging down the court. You know what I'm saying?
I've watched NBA, like not just NBA, but I've watched like a little. I know what the TV shots look like when they show it. It's not that close to them, like where it's that distinguishable.
Oh yeah,
you see that he's got a beard. You don't see that he's the guy with a beard.
You can see a 7'3" white guy for the Knicks. You could have a blurry television. You know which one the 7'3" white guy is.
Okay, but you also know what the guy with the beard is. Because how many people like have a beard like that in the NBA?
None.
Exactly. People have beards in the NFL. They don't have that kind of beard, but they have.
Well, yeah,
beards.
but the thing is, it gets covered up. That's what I'm saying.
See, there's just so many.
I like this though. I must say, I like this conversation. And plus, too, like I was worried that we weren't going to be able to get to everything, and we're right where we should be.
Perfect.
Actually, yeah, we're right where we should be. Actually, we're going a little bit. We're good. I think we're wonderful with this. I love this conversation.
See, he's just trying to shut me down because I was winning.
No, go ahead and keep going. Go ahead and keep going.
Well, I've lost the main point. The main point was what's bigger. Okay, I understand the point now. It was culturally bigger.
No, which one? No. It's not that. You are right on this. We're talking about different topics. That's
okay.
Why. We're just saying, has the NBA or will the NBA be surpassing the NFL? When I say possible. In a cultural, advertising, marketing standpoint, I say yes. In a rating standpoint, I say no. But you agree with me on the rating standpoint. I agree with you on the standpoint.
And I say it's possible with the personality thing only because they have less exposure. If they were exposed on the main channels.
That's why I'm saying it, though.
If they were exposed on the main channels.
Now, you're saying the
like
NBA players are exposed.
Yes. If they were on commercials on NBC.
See, I think NBA players are exposed.
And they were, because you have to watch TNT to see that.
Or ESPN.
And they're not showing.
And the playoffs are shown the playoffs are the most watched part of the NBA season, and that's all done through ABC. And
is it though? I don't think it is.
Yeah, ABC covers the playoffs.
I thought it was TNT. I could have sworn it was TNT.
What?
I think
finals?
Yeah.
No, they just do the post.
Maybe.
Well, ABC's Turner.
So maybe it was
both.
ABC.
You can get both. Yeah, ABC covers the finals. They also cover the playoffs too. ABC covers, I believe, the Western Conference, and TNT covers the Eastern Conference. Just like when it comes to the Super Bowl, or when it comes to the NFL playoffs, CBS has the NFC, Fox has the AFC.
No, you've got it. No, that is wrong. No, Fox has the NFC. I know.
Fox has the NFC
because the Eagles are on.
Well, that's all just about.
Fox
that's just how it is now. During the playoffs, they'll swap. So
I don't think they swap, man. I don't think so.
Well, they swap, or one of them gets the whole thing.
They swap for the Super Bowl. Like they'll do different ones. For
yeah,
the
Super Bowls.
Like
well, the
last
thing is,
year
the reason
the
NBA is on ESPN is because ESPN backed up a money truck that the NFL has not seen yet. Okay. ESPN put a lot of money into this deal. To put it this way, the NBA has a salary cap that's bigger than the NFL's. Because of this TV deal they have with ESPN.
Yeah, and that's fine for the sport, but when you're talking about like
that's how much. That's why it's not on. That's why it's not. It's not a matter of like they need to get on there to get exposure. They're getting paid a lot of money to be on ESPN. A lot of money.
Yeah, which is fine for the players, but when you're talking about is it going to get bigger, you got to look at the common people. Like, look at me. Do I have any desire to watch the NBA? I mean, maybe, sure. But the thing is I don't have enough drive to go on to ESPN and find when the games are. If it was just chilling on NBC and I was just watching something, like, yeah, I'll watch that NBA game. Maybe I'll start getting into NBA.
Let me ask you this. When you're walking around, like let's say you're walking around Destiny. And and you go into
which is a mall here, by the way.
Yes, Destiny. You want to say? I mean, you get like 12 people to listen to this thing. So
yeah, but I'm gonna put it on my thing.
Oh, okay.
That has a different.
Okay. So when you walk into Destiny and you walk around the stores, and you go into like the sports stores, what do you see more of?
I see NFL jerseys. Seriously,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
But the second one is NBA. I will tell you that.
Well,
is
see,
NBA.
that's I see the jerseys, yes. But here's what I also want to point out too: the jerseys, yes, but I think equally with the jerseys is the shoes.
Okay,
Sneakers.
but see, synonymous with the now. See, the NBA owns that. You've got Jordans. Come on, Jordans.
No, not even counting Jordans, just LeBrons.
But that's what I'm saying.
KDs.
You don't see NFL players making their own shoe line.
They used to. They used to. There's right now you can buy a pair of Diamond Fury Nikes that were worn by Deion Sanders when he played both baseball and football, but they don't market them as that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why they don't. But like one of the more valuable shoes are Bo Jackson shoes. They made like a small line of them. But
yeah, but here's the thing.
NFL players used to have shoes. Robert Griffin III had his own
shoe
line.
But here's the thing: you can wear their shoes that they wear. They're basketball shoes. The marketing, you can't wear players' cleats. You know,
no, they design their
all
own
the time.
shoes. No, they, like the NFL players have designed. Like Megatron.
Yeah,
has
I
a
know,
pair of shoes.
but guess what they are? What are they? What type of shoes are they? You call them basketball shoes. That's
the
what you
football
call them.
players' shoes.
No, the
they're
NBA
called,
ones.
Yes, well, I mean they're called sneakers, but yeah. Well, I mean,
but that's
Jordans,
what. But what
Jordans,
I'm saying is,
you
it's
can't
more like connected to what they wear. You can't wear like let's say a football player's got their own shoe line, right? Like you're like, okay, cool, but what does it have to do with him? Because he wears cleats all the time. Like these aren't cleats. You don't wear cleats everywhere. You wear regular shoes. You can wear basketball shoes, sneakers all the time. Like you can wear shoes that they wear on the court all the time.
But I'll say this though,
that's why it's more easily marketable.
One of the top selling cleats is Jordan cleats.
That's because Jordan's one of the biggest name in shoes. You think shoes, you think Jordans. That's different.
Is it though? 'Cause it's a basketball.
It is different.
Because that's Nike. That's just rebranding Nike.
Okay, but also people like to flex, and when you think Jordans, you think a lot of money. You think Nike, you think quality. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about marketing. You're like, yeah, I got these Jordans. You know, you're not like, yo, I got these. Well, I mean, some people got these Nikes.
That's it though. Jordans. There's been a lot of football players that could come through and promote their own shoes and their own jerseys and their own T-shirts and their own socks and everything, and they'd sell them. All the NFL players have a brand. You can buy Odell Beckham shoes or Odell Beckham socks. You can buy Tom Brady stuff. It's all a brand. I said TB12.
But you're not understanding what I'm saying. It's different because it's not as like relatable. Like they don't wear those shoes on the field.
Yeah, but if it's Tom Brady, people are gonna buy it. There's Tom Brady. If Tom Brady starts selling like CrossFit shoes, which J.J. Watt sells CrossFit shoes, Calvin Johnson sells CrossFit shoes, Robert Griffin did like what they call it.
Yeah, but they're meant for like actually helping you, correct?
What do you mean? Like actually
like
helping
Jordans are meant for style. They're not meant for being better on the basketball court.
Yeah, but even with the Reeboks,
CrossFit shoes, they're actually meant.
CrossFit shoes are comfortable shoes. Like
they have a use. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's not as people are wearing Jordans all the time.
Well, let me show you what I mean by
CrossFit shoes all the time.
Let me show you what
Chris, check out these CrossFit shoes I just got.
Well, I mean, you'd be like, look at these shoes. These are J.J. Watt shoes. Like, I mean, they're technically considered. I mean, they're like workout shoes.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not considered running shoes, but they're considered athletic shoes.
And Jordans are a fashion statement, a flex statement.
But then
it's like think about like Gucci bags or something like that. That's what Jordan is for shoes, like Gucci bags. I don't know.
Gucci. Okay,
it's the name.
G bags. I was like, the hell, the G pack.
It's the name.
Remember like the G Fuel over at PAX? Wasn't that good stuff?
What? Oh my god!
I found out Chris Wyman was an athlete of them. Didn't know that.
But it's just the name that's like that makes it like people might not even watch basketball, but they buy Jordans because that's a status symbol.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. It's culture. It's culture. It's culture.
It's not necessarily NBA culture though. That has to do with money.
But I mean, where did Jordan play though? He's an NBA player.
I understand that, but like
that's what I'm saying. Is it's cultural. Like LeBron.
I think it's fake culture. I think that's what you're thinking
fake
right
culture?
now. Yeah, like I said, no one buys it to say, look, I really like Michael Jordan. I really like the NBA. They buy it to say, look, I've got a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's not NBA culture.
Then what about LeBron's?
That's the same thing. How much is a pair of LeBron's?
No, because LeBron has 2 pairs.
How much is a pair?
A pair of Soldier LeBrons can go for brand new 80 to 120. LeBron.
Okay, do you know how much my shoes are?
How much are your shoes?
$5. I'm not gonna go out and buy an $80 pair of shoes.
I mean, I'm wearing shoes right now that were $20, and they're basketball shoes. They're Pat Ewing. But I mean, you're not gonna find many people wearing Pat Ewing shoes.
Yeah.
Like me, Matt, like maybe 4 other people at this school.
What I'm saying, like, you buy that to flex. You buy that to say, yo, check it out, what I got. these cost that much, and the name is synonymous with how much money it is. Like, because you know that name, like Jordan. Oh, that's an expensive shoe. Oh, LeBron. I know LeBron. That's an expensive
So that's
shoe.
what I'm saying. Is it's like people know these guys. Like
Yeah, for money though, not for the game. You're saying cultural.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Money.
Yeah, culture is not about the game. Cultural is more just like
So it's evil.
recognizable. It's what?
It's evil.
Evil?
Because like I said, it's about money.
Evil.
If you want everyone to start wearing Jordans because it's or like even LeBrons or Kobe's because it's the culture, like you're not getting people into the NBA. You're not.
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying in culture. Like culturally, you're gonna see a lot more. I think culturally, you see a lot more basketball fans than football fans.
But they're not even That's what I'm saying. Is it's wrong. It's fake. It's not real. They buy Jordans not because they like the NBA. They buy it because of the money. They buy Kobe's because of the money. They buy LeBron's
But there's
because
also a lot
of
of
the money.
there's also
They're
a
like,
lot of
check out my
basketball
shoes.
fans that don't buy those shoes.
Exactly, because that's what it is it's just for money. You don't say, hey, look, I really like this team. I'm going to buy their shoe. No. Most people I know, at least, that buy those kind of shoes is because of the name. Because it's like, hey, I got the money for this. I'm a baller, you know?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I buy a bunch of NBA shoes. Like, that's my style.
That's you, and
but then
honestly,
again, I
you're
also
the
have a
only person I know
baseball
that does that. Really. Most
Oh,
people
there's a
that
lot
get
of
these
people
kind
I
of
know.
shoes,
A lot of people in my clique.
that's
do.
because you're into that. That's your style. That's like your friend group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the NBA guy. I'm not. You actually like that.
But like, even with like sneaker heads is like a trend. Sneaker heads. That's all basketball shoes.
And you want to know why? Because there's limited editions that also cost more that are rarer.
Limited.
It's not about the game. It's about the rarity. It's about the money. It's not about the game. And that's where I don't think it's a real culture thing. It is culture, but not NBA culture. It's more of like a brand culture, I guess.
See, I see what you're saying with that, but I think that's what I think matters though. Like if people like I have a pair of Ken Griffey Jr. shoes.
Yeah, that's not gonna make me watch the end. But if someone's got a pair of Jordans, it's not gonna make me watch
But like
NBA.
everyone that watches, a lot of people that own the Ken Griffeys would be like, man, Ken Griffey, that guy was a beast, or like that guy was cool, like that guy was swagger. And then you hear maybe a couple songs, or like you'll see a commercial with him or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Is like that's what I mean by cultural. It's that you walk around, you'll see a lot of people. You'll see either some sort of song hitting, talking about it. Like there's that Drake song where I think it's Drake, where
I don't listen to Drake.
the line verbatim, I'm about to risk it all and go Carmelo. And I think that's one of the only. I mean, look at Nicki Minaj. How many times she references Steph Curry more than any other? Basketball players are referenced more in rap music and hip hop than football players are.
I mean,
that's what I mean by culture. Is like the
I can understand
the casual fan, the casual sports fan, is more exposed, more exposed to basketball players and basketball product than I would say NFL or a casual fan would be.
I 100% doubt that for a few reasons. You see people wearing jerseys and shirts like yours all the time. I see more.
I buy Jets.
I see more people in football like memorabilia.
But here's the thing. Let me turn the table on you.
That's even
you're
more
pointing
exposure.
You're pointing at my shirt. The shoes say Ewing, so I'm counting production.
On the bottom.
No, on the back and on the tongue too. And I'm wearing shorts. You can see.
Okay, but what are more people looking at? Your shoes or your shirt?
I like to think my shoes, because I keep my shoes pretty clean. These
I can guarantee you more people are looking at your shirt.
But then I also wear a lot, like my jacket's a Knicks jacket.
Yeah, you do. You specifically. But most people, like at least from me, my standpoint, I see more people wearing football like stuff than basketball.
Pro?
Pro and college. I get people in my store all the time. I just had someone the other day wearing an LSU hoodie, LSU football hoodie and stuff like that. Like, that's what I'm saying. In general, like, I just see more people wearing, like, in general, even just football memorabilia than basketball. And maybe it's just because the style is different. Maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? I have no idea.
I think it's style.
Maybe. But I just saying, even in that standpoint, you see more people with that. You know, Hollywood and the commercials can pump at you what they want.
But that's
what you see every day.
That's how I make the difference, is because, like, if companies are willing to pump out all these commercials with basketball players, there's a reason why they're pumping them all out with basketball players. Because either one, they tried football players and it wasn't as popular, or two, they used basketball players for the first time and their numbers are skyrocketing.
Okay, what are the basketball players marketing?
Cars, shoes.
Okay, cars. What do you connect cars with? What do people like? Cars, money, That kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's a
You
Buick.
can have cars with
It's a
money.
Buick.
Yeah, Buick's supposed to be a luxury vehicle.
Buick's not a luxury car. That's not
Okay,
good.
supposedly though, it's
No, not
it's
considered
marketed
one.
as a luxury.
It's marketed as Buicks are marketed.
I'm sorry,
now
that
they're
commercial.
marketed.
That's a Buick. That they're saying that because
Yeah, because old people drive Buicks. My car, right now, my car you see out there in the parking lot, my '05 Buick LaCrosse, you will see two types of people drive that car.
I know, an '05.
Young people and super old. And that's the point. They want you to think that Buicks aren't just for old people anymore. That's what they're saying by, oh, that's a Buick? Because it's like, wow, that's a really nice car. It's not just some random.
Yeah, a really
old
nice car. And guess what you get with a really nice car? How much is a car? How much is that car?
Buicks are one of the more inexpensive ones.
Look it up right now. How much is a Buick? A
Would
nice 20,
would it be better if I just looked up
2018
cheapest
Buick.
car models? Would that be better for you if I just looked up like cheapest car
No,
models?
no. I want you to say use Buick in general. It's 2018 Buick.
But then, like, if I show you a Ford, you're gonna see more.
No, 2018. You said that they're marketing Buick, correct?
Well, they market Buick, Nissan. They market what's the other one?
Bottom line,
Kia.
cars are expensive. Cars are
Yes,
thousands
cars
of
are
dollars.
super expensive. Yeah.
Shoes are expensive. I'm saying it's a money thing. They're trying to prove that, like, hey, this man's a baller. You buy this, you're a baller.
I see what you're
His
saying. It's
shoes
the
are for
persona.
ballers.
It's the persona.
That's the persona.
That's
Yeah,
what you're
it's
saying.
about the money.
Okay.
It's not about the game. It's not.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying it's a culture thing.
That's not culture. That's money culture. That's not NBA culture. You're trying to say that it makes it NBA culture. How is the NBA gonna pass if it's just about money? Like, it's not like
That's a wonderful question you can ask NBA fans.
like I'm just saying, like, it's like
And how's the NFL going to do it without 1,000 commercials of this is the official potato chip of the NFL? This is the official
because guess what? It's
motor
not about
oil
money.
of the NFL.
Yeah,
it's all
yes.
about money.
What I'm saying is Pepsi. You can buy a fucking 12-pack of Pepsi right now for like what, $5? You can
I
go
have
out
no
and buy
idea.
Tostino's chips for like $2 because that's what you have when you watch the football game. It's not about, hey, you got to shell out this thousands of money to be like this dude. Nah, it's not that. That's what I'm saying. It's practical stuff. It's not buy this car, buy this.
But that has
buy
to do
these
with
shoes.
but that has to do with the ritual of the NFL, though. Like when you think of game day in the NFL, it's like pizza, chips and dip, that type of thing.
And that's a cultural thing.
yeah. I see what you're right about that.
See what I'm saying? That's more people eat Tostinos and drink Pepsi than have a Buick or a BMW or something like that. You know.
Are you sure about
So that's more
that?
of a culture thing.
Are you sure there aren't as many people that are driving Buick? I mean, I think for every potato chip I eat, I have two Buicks.
You have two Buicks.
I'd like to think so.
Two Buicks.
Two Buicks. Two
At least
Buick
two.
Lucerns, and they're both orange.
Orange. Oh my God! Is there even any orange vehicles on the road? I
You
don't
know,
know. I've seen
I
the
learned
orange
that
vehicles.
the cars with the highest resale value are orange cars.
No
Yeah.
way. Why?
Because people that buy
No one wants
orange
an
cars
orange
take
car.
care of them. Because they care about cars.
No one wants an orange car.
I love
don't-
that. I love those Subarus with that orange car.
I don't want an orange car, man. Oh.
That orange. I love that orange.
I mean, if it was a nicer car than my car, I'd
Well, like
take it if
this,
it's orange.
like you know what I'm talking about, like that synonymous Subaru orange.
No,
you
I-
see on some of those. You ever seen some of those like Subaru cars with like the orange?
No, I know what orange you're talking about, but when I think Subaru, I think like black or blue.
Yeah, but like you know what I mean, like by the this
It's like a
distinct
brown
orange that
orange,
not
yeah,
many
it's-
people have.
Yeah, no, I
like the
know
cross
that, but
tracks, which I think are nice cars.
yeah, it's cool looking, but I wouldn't want orange.
You wouldn't want orange?
No, because what does orange go with? You know, orange goes with nothing.
Goes with the city.
All right, yeah, this city, the only city orange will go with. Smack some cute stickers on there.
I'd never
Put
throw
auto
stickers
on there.
my car. I don't like putting stickers on my
I
car.
put stickers on my car. That's also because it's a 2002 Pontiac Sunfire beater that's keyed on the side from an ex-girlfriend. so yeah, I'll put stickers on my car. There's keystrokes on the side of my car. I'm gonna put stickers on my windows.
You just live the life of luxury, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Speaking of orange,
Okay.
Friday, when the next version of the All the Above comes out, 7 p.m., Cornell versus Syracuse.
What is that, basketball?
Basketball, yeah.
Oh.
So that'll be a good game to see. And then Syracuse plays Wake Forest this week in football at the Dome.
Oh.
That's going to be a 3 o'clock game.
I think maybe they got that. You going to that one?
I don't know if I'm going to it, but I don't think they got it.
Really?
Wake Forest has kicked the crap out of a lot of people. Like, we just lost to Florida State. They kicked the crap out of Florida State.
Yeah, we also beat Clemson, though.
They lost by 1 possession to Clemson. At Clemson.
But
2
what I'm
possessions
saying
to
is you
Clemson.
can't use, with that logic, you can't use that logic then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Technically.
home game. So they definitely
And
have a
that's what I'm
chance.
thinking, too. You're in the Dome. You're in the Loud House.
Yeah, I
you
see
know
what
what I'm
you're
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they got a chance.
Yeah, it's a chance. That's why I said they could have it. It's not like they're going
Like
up
they're not being marked as the favorites to win.
Oh, they're never marked as the favorites to win. Are you kidding me?
I mean, against like Boston College and Pitt, they were.
I wouldn't. I've been in this city. I know. I know better than that. Jeez. So, segue.
Yes. No, I think I think we're good. An hour and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
It's been an hour and a half.
It's been an hour and a half.
Oh, jeez.
Usually my shows go like an hour and 15.
Wow.
And usually got to drag out a little bit. We could have kept this going for like another 3
hours.
hours.
I'm sure we could have.
But now we're gonna get ready for we're gonna prepare the dumpster fire show.
Yeah, the dumpster
but that's
fire. This one was organized chaos. The next one is
Oh, this next one's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
I had to dedicate this show for sports because I got to. I have to. Like, I gotta do a sports show. I love it. I love talking about sports. I also had to throw that little bit of politics in there in the beginning because it's important. But I cannot wait for this show on Friday for people to listen into it.
I'm excited.
Because the thing is, I'd put it up tonight. I just don't have the time because I gotta work, and then tomorrow I have classes all day, so it wouldn't be up till like 8 o'clock tomorrow at night.
Busy man.
I'll just do it and just get it ready for like a 1 o'clock, like a better exposed time where everyone will be on social media that I can just shove it down their throats on, which would be like a 12 o'clock
Shove it right in there.
on a Friday. That'd be perfect.
Absolutely.
So yes, this was the first ever guest host show and the first ever All the Above podcast. And for Pookie Bear and for myself, until next time, it's been our